Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Steph from the Hot Movement Podcast, and today we're going to talk about comedian Dave Chappelle. So before we get started, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So let's get moving. Okay, so it was reported last week that SNL would be having Dave Chappelle host the Saturday Night Live episode taking place this Saturday. It was met with a lot of resistance from SNL's writers to boycott Dave Chappelle hosting the gig because of a special that he did on Netflix called The Closer. Now, in The Closer, Dave Chappelle jokes on the LGBTQ community, and there's some things in there that the community did not like. They thought that he misgendered a close friend of his, a transgender friend that he has that had passed away a couple years ago called Daphne. They didn't like that, right? But SNL is pushing forward. He's gonna host a show. They released a small little promo. I think Dave kind of joked about it a little bit, and I want to talk about this because you see, like, this is where, when being too woke and having too many liberals control the media and control sentiment and control speech, free speech and stuff like that. Like, listen, I understand, we're a country of free speech, but also, like, I understand, like, saying hurtful things and stuff like that. But I mean, again, saying hurtful things can be subjective, right? And especially when you're trying to target a comedian, like, Dave Chappelle jokes on everybody. Okay, Dave Chappelle is probably the funniest comedian out there. He jokes on black people, jokes on white people. He makes jokes about everybody. And you know what? I think his friend, his transgender friend that had passed away, and he talked about this in a special, one of his specials he did on Netflix, just kind of saying how, like, his transgender friend was very happy that Dave would actually joke on their community because they felt inclusive, like they weren't untouchable, like, oh, don't say anything about them at all. It's like, listen, if the LGBT community wants inclusion and stuff like that, and we want to treat everybody fair and treat everybody normal, like, I don't see the issue with a comedian making some jokes about them. You know what I'm saying? They make jokes about every other group, organizations, everything, right? And just because you joke about a group or organization doesn't necessarily mean that you're transphobic or you hate that group or anything like that, right? At the end of the day, comedians should have the space. It should be the only space where a comedian should be getting canceled for some jokes. You know what I'm saying? Now, if a comedian is just going off on just a racial, or very, hateful speech tirade, and it's really not funny, and you're really just using your platform just to kind of spew hate, you know what I'm saying? Yes, you're right, but you're not really funny, and you're not really, like, trying to tie it into a joke or anything like that, or have a real underlying message behind it, right? Dave Chappelle jokes a lot, but he's very intelligent, and a lot of times when he jokes, there's always some type of an underlying message that's like, gives you, like, some type of food for thought, makes you kind of think about things, right? And yeah, so, and also too, I think the CEO of Netflix or whatever, I forgot who owns Netflix, whatever it was. Anyway, they were defending that special they had. They were like, look, we're gonna push forward with this special. We don't feel that this is hateful content or anything like that, And also too is, like, Dave Chappelle signed massive deals with Netflix, right? Dave Chappelle brings in dollars, okay? So, and SNL knows that too. SNL is not gonna let a few liberal, woke, sensitive writers, because he joked on the LGBT community, to not have him on their show. And Netflix is not pulling their special where they generates a lot of money. Clearly, how the LGBT community feels is not the same amount of revenue compared to how the general public feels, right? Dave Chappelle says a lot of offensive things. I mean, he said some things about black people. I'm like, damn, yo, you know what I'm saying? And we laugh. Sometimes when comedians joke with different groups, it's like, we just point out stereotypes, we joke about it, it's funny, it gives you something to think about, but you never walk away thinking, oh, I hate that group, or I hate these type of people, or anything like that, right? And this just proves that Dave Chappelle, you can't cancel Dave. Dave Chappelle is king. Many people try to cancel him, all these woke liberals and stuff like that try to cancel Dave. You can't cancel Dave. Dave doesn't have to do another stand-up. He's set for life, but he can start his own platform. People will pay to watch it. It gets to a point now where it's like, you know what, you guys are these people who want to get canceled, or these overly sensitive, liberal type communities and stuff like that, is probably just going to have to fall back. At the end of the day, money's king, entertainment's king, and certain people are going to be afforded certain luxuries that you can't cancel, like a Dave Chappelle, So good for Dave, good for SNL. You know what I'm saying? If SNL did pull him off, it would just look really bad on SNL, honestly. I mean, I don't watch SNL like that. It's not really that funny. It's a little too liberal for me personally. But But for Dave to be on there and for them to stand by him and let him host SNL is good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, if you want the writers can boycott and do what they want to do. I mean, I know when Netflix was airing The Closer, they said that, hey, you know, they encourage employees, hey, if you want to boycott, go ahead, boycott. You know, it's your right to boycott. We're not going to punish you, but go ahead and you know, we're going to go ahead and release this special. You know, so good for Dave, and you know, good for SNL for not backing down and you know, bowing down to, you know, the left wing LGBT community that's getting overly sensitive about Dave Chappelle hosting SNL. You know, I'd recommend, you know, go back and watch those specials. I mean, yeah, they're funny, man, but it's not. I don't watch those specials, you know, coming with an attitude of, oh, that was very hurtful, that was mean, you know. And it's a very like small section. I mean, I think like, you know, they did some test cases, test viewings with The Closer from some people in the LGBT community. Majority of them said they had no problems with it. They liked it. It was funny. The transgender woman Daphne, who had passed away, who's friends with Dave, their family watched The Closer. They said they had absolutely had no issues with it, and they love Dave, and that Dave has also set up a I think he like set up a trust or whatever, or a college fund, something like that for Daphne, his friend's daughter. You know, so, and they don't talk about that either, right? So yeah, so good for Dave, good for SNL. Anyways, guys, I'm out. Please like, subscribe.